So what is beauty therapy? It's included beauty therapy encompasses facial therapy or machines, right? Or energy-based devices that we've been using. So most important thing that we have to remember is health and safety in the workplace. All right, so you have to check the requirements of your area. Make sure that the area is safe not only for the client, for yourself as well. And for example, the wires of your machines should be properly placed on the wall and it won't tip anyone over. Your beds have to be strong enough to carry the weight of even big clients. All right, so always update your training regarding the policy and legislation. And of course, we have to have sterilization or products or materials or equipment that we can use for sterilization. In our clinic, we have UV or radiation. We also have dry heat. We use ammonium or hypochlorite and regular antiseptics. So we have a quick disinfect of the equipment, and then we have a longer type of sterilization equipment. We also should have a first aid kit. In the Philippines, DOH has a required, we have what we call OSHA, Occupational Safety Hazard Association, or affiliate. And then we're required to have a first aid kit in place. Okay. And all employees should know where to find the first aid kit and who's responsible, who's gonna check if it's complete, if it is not expired, things like that. And who to inform. There has to be a number placed in your reception area in case of emergency, who to call and who to inform. And what is the escalation period. First person to call, second person to call after 30 minutes, after an hour, like that. And how to call the ambulance in case there's a real emergency. Okay. And it's also important that we keep our personal appearance look sterile. We have to protect ourselves, our hair, everything. No? This is a separate topic that we have provided for you. Kindly watch it. Always wear a PPE. The PPE for the day should not be used the following day. And also, if you're handling blood, there has to be an extra protection than your regular scrub suit. Okay. Then we go to the cosmetic science basics, because we handle a lot of products in our clinic and we have to know what the purposes of these products are. We are not just here to do step 1, step 2, step 3 on our clients, but what is the foundation knowledge of it? What is the real purpose of it? Why are we using it on our client's skin? Okay, so cosmetic science cover all of the cosmetic ingredients and formulations. Oops, sorry. And the very first concept or product that we're going to talk about are emulsions. Okay? So, as you know, water and oil will never mix. And usually our products is either water-based or oil-based. And the purpose of the emulsifier is to help water and oil mix. Okay? So, sometimes you see a product that looks oil-based, but after you mix it with water, it emulsifies or it starts to foam. That is because of the presence of emulsifier. So the emulsifier, if you experience water-based products, it's light and it evaporates easily. So we normally add something creamy to it or something oily to it. And then the way to make it mix together is with the emulsifier. So it's a very important concept in cosmetic science. All right, so when we talk about cleansers, like I said, usually cleansers have emulsifiers. And then when we talk about cleansers, there is what we call fats or lipid. As you see, your wash 1 was foamy. Then your wash 2 was creamy. Because that is the time for deep cleansing. It will dissolve a lot of detergents, oil, dirt, and makeup. That's why wash 2 is normally creamy because it's made out of fat or lipids. Okay? So now you understand because you touched two types of wash already. Okay. Then humectants is products that bind water into the skin. Our skin has a natural moisturizing factor. It's called NMF. But when we have dry skin, we lose that. Our natural moisturizing factor becomes low. That's why people need estheticians like us, right? So the skin has to have a way to retain the water. That's why sometimes if you read some blogs, they would tell you the best time to apply your oil moisturizer during the winter or your cream moisturizer is right after the shower where you still have those droplets of water because it helps you maintain the moisture in your skin. Okay? Skin has also what we call potential hydrogen or pH level. That's what you hear in commercials. What pH level is good for this part of the body or certain parts of the body. All right, so pH or potential hydrogen is the measurement of how acidic or alkaline our skin is. Okay, so our skin is slightly acidic. It's at 5.5 pH. All right, so every substance has an acidity level. So our skin is around pH 5.5. Okay, so sometimes if the client suddenly experience too much redness, or as in when, like in our clinic, we do Moroccan bath. So the end of the session is soy milk, something like that, to soothe the acidity. Oh. So there are products like, for instance, coffee. Coffee is very acidic, but there are more acidic items than coffee: tomato, vinegar, lemon. That's why they say, why are Filipinos always, when you do their makeup, they always tend to oxidize? It's probably because of our diet, because our diet is very acidic. We do a lot of adobo, vinegar, tomato formulations, things like that, okay? So our blood is alkaline. So there. Soap. Soap. Imagine most soaps are alkaline, but those acid-based soap, kojic acid, those soaps are on the other side. So it depends on the formulation. That's why a knowledge of cosmetic science is important for estheticians. All right, so beauty products normally have a pH of about 4. It has to be slightly acidic to make sure that the skin of the person is protected from outside factors, okay? It has to have an antibacterial effect. So that is the reason why oily skin or more alkaline skin are prone to pimples, because they are not able to fight the bacteria and the environment. Right? So that's why when it's oily or acne prone skin, you may need products with more acidic pH. So for example, the client yesterday, Miss Saraya, we had to use a glycolic acid toner because of the skin or sebum overproduction of the skin. So skin is a bit tougher and produces less oil. For dry skin or for more acidic pH skin, the skin is tougher and produces less oil or sebum. So you will require products that are more alkaline. So this is the reason why there are products for oily skin, dry skin, normal skin, or combination skin. No? Primarily because of the acidity of the client's skin. So many skincare formulation may require a preservative to make sure there will be no mold or yeast or other microorganisms. Some preservatives are only natural. So you should check the label, check the period after opening. Actually, that's our next topic. Period after opening. Because there is what we call a shelf life. They would normally say shelf life is 3 years. But there would be a separate period after opening date. So for instance, your numbing creams, usually after opening, you should be able to finish it in 3 months, something like that. And the period after opening would have a label that looks like a jar with the lid open. No? Period after opening. We have to be conscious of that. If you are using a product with a big jar, make sure you put the tape that says opened May 15, something like that, so that you will know by the time it reaches 3 months, it's time to throw it already. It's very important in inventory. Okay. All right. All those skincare products fall under certain legislation like the FDA. It will always, there will be times when a person will also still react. And us being estheticians is also prone to occupational dermatitis, dryness of the hands. So we have to be careful also because we often wash our hands and our procedures are often involve a lot of chemicals. So be careful. You also have to moisturize your own hands. Okay. And also, you also have to be aware of the ingredients of your product. Not because it says organic, it's going to be best for everyone. So for example, this person has an allergy on strawberries and your product is strawberry based, obviously the person will react to it. So that's why cosmetic science is very, very important in our practice. All right, so let's drill down the chemical ingredients. I know there's a lot of words here. That's why we're recording this so that you can look back. All right, so chemical ingredients that are common. First of all, abrasive, ingredients that polish the surface. Okay, normally you would think of alcohol or what's that? The chlorine-based ones. So that one will be very abrasive to the skin of the client, to your nose, you will inhale that. So if you can find a more natural solution to this, it would be great. But if not, there has to be surface cleaning substance in your clinic. Acids, okay? Acids are products that are below 7 pH. Then, alcohol, used as a preservative, is also a main ingredient in cosmetics. So, I mentioned yesterday, if you can find an alcohol-free toner, because when you're doing facial and extraction, you have to clean continuously your extractor and the skin of the client. Not everyone can tolerate alcohol. So we have to find, for dry skin, you cannot use alcohol-based products. So it's fine for oily skin. We use a glycolic acid-based toner. But for dry skin, you cannot keep wiping with acid-based toners. Okay. Did you get that? So alkali, so substances above pH 7. Usually these are bases for our ingredients. All right, so alpha hydroxy acids or AHA, naturally occurring in some fruits and also created in labs. All right, so it is natural. It is a home care ingredient. It can be a home care ingredient, depends on the strength, but the purpose of it is to exfoliate the skin. So people who use it normally are the oily skinned ones. And if you see it with people who uses it, their skin will look glowing because there's no flaking of dead skin cells. However, there are times when it is overused and eventually does more harm than good. For example, the person is not really oily. It strips off the top layer of the skin too quickly before the skin is ready, and then when you absorb the sun, eventually might lead to melasma. Okay, so this is just a quick background. So AHA is alpha hydroxy acid. It's the most natural among the acids. And we will go into the topic of chemical peeling, and this is one of the ingredients. Then we have antimicrobials because your products, no matter, even if it says natural or organic, it will always have some sort of preservative or antimicrobial product. Otherwise, in 1 week, it's gone. You cannot use it anymore. It's like you peeled an avocado and place it on your face. You cannot use that tomorrow. If it has been exposed, it will rot, right? Then antioxidants. The usual antioxidants is C and E. We use that a lot in our clinics. We have vitamin C serum. It reduces the damage from free radicals and pollution. In a hydrofacial, it's also part of the products that you spray. It brightens the skin and it produces antimicrobial benefits and antioxidant benefits. Astringent, it cools the skin. Okay, this is astringent, also synonymous to toner. So if you can find a non-alcohol one, it tightens the skin. After your exfoliation, we use it to cool down the face and tighten the skin, ready for other steps of the facial. Colorings, all right. So colors, dyes, pigments, usually products have dyes or bleaches to make it look white, because substances are not naturally white. But when you open a jar of a cosmetic cream, you see it's white. So they use substances to make it white, to make it unscented. So it doesn't mean that it's white, it's better, or it doesn't mean that it's unscented, that it's better, because they try to kill the natural scent of the ingredients. Okay. Comedogenic, very important term. Ingredients that create a build-up on the skin, causing congestion of the follicles and the skin. So some may say, I have dry skin. I don't want facial because I get irritated. Or I have dry skin. I don't really need a toner. If you don't clean the surface of the dead skin cells, if you don't clean or remove the dead skin cells, no matter what moisturizer you apply on the skin, it will not be absorbed because the dead skin cells are blocking everything. In the same way, oily people will say, I don't want to do facials. I'll just wait for it to dry because I'm afraid of scarring. If you don't do the facial, the dry skin trapping the sebum inside, the sebum mixed with bacteria will become a pus and become acne or pimples. All right? So it's very important that we remove the dead skin. At the same time, use non-comedogenic products. That means these are products that doesn't clog up the pores. So if you buy your products in the clinic, make sure they're non-comedogenic. You have to know the right questions to ask your supplier. Do you have clinical studies? Is that non-comedogenic? What's the acidity level? Things like that. That's why cosmetic science is very important. We just don't just follow what the manufacturer or the supplier said. This is step 1, this is step 2, this is step 3. Why do we put it in step 1? Why do we put it in step 2? Things like that. So that's where cosmetic science falls under. Okay, so next term is detergent. Okay, so an ingredient that emulsifies oil and water and has cleansing properties. The thing with detergent, if it's too strong, it also destroys our own microbiome. We're gonna discuss this eventually as you get more knowledge with cosmetic science, because our body has our own natural microbiome. I think with oily people, they think it is best for them to always use a lot of detergent, a lot of acids, a lot of foaming substances, but eventually they destroy their own microbiome. So eventually you will get more pimples. It will seem in the beginning that the strong acids are working, but if you do it consistently, it destroys your own microbiome. And so you're more exposed to the world. Okay. DHAs, or dihydroxyacetone, is an ingredient in self-tanning, and it reacts with amino acids of the skin, creating a tanned appearance. So DHA, it's just one of those tanning products. Emollients, we mentioned that earlier, we discussed that earlier. Enzymes are products that break down the protein keratin to exfoliate the skin. So you will see products that says enzyme right now. It's used for exfoliation. So when you read on the label enzyme, it metabolizes something. So for example, it metabolizes the keratosis on top of your skin, or the amino acids, the dead cells on top of the skin. So it helps in removing your dead skin cells. Okay, so essential oil, it's based from plant and it's made of oil. It has therapeutic properties. So we use this sometimes when we do our facials. We can do lymphatic drainage massages using essential oil, or we burn it on the side for the client to feel relaxation. And it also helps, for example, you use tea tree. It's also an antimicrobial substance that when you diffuse beside the client, helps the client with whatever um, microbes around the area. So exfoliators, these are products that remove the surface skin cells. For cosmetics, it's usually you see beads as exfoliators or enzymes as exfoliators. Glycolic acid is a type of AHA or alpha hydroxy acid that removes dead skin cells. Okay. Humectant, yeah, we mentioned that earlier. It prevents moisture loss of the skin. Hyaluronic acid, it's natural in the body and it helps hydrate the body. And it's also used in fillers. Mineral oil, it's a lubricant or an emollient derived from petroleum. Sometimes you will see or you will read mineral oil free, along with paraben-free, things like that. Because mineral oil is based from petroleum. It's highly chemical. It's not natural. So these days, it's frowned upon. But it's also very effective in trapping moisture inside. So yeah, so sometimes when you suggest to your client, if you see the home care would include a serum, a moisturizer, and then another thicker substance on top, because it's how you bind or help the product or the moisturizer be absorbed by the skin. Minerals, naturally occurring substance from the earth and include zinc and magnesium. This also helps in the repair of the skin. Natural oils or lubricants from vegetable and plant sources, because again, oils or lipids or fats help bind or trap. It helps clean the skin, but at the same time, it also helps trap moisture or bind moisture into the skin. Occlusives help retain water and protects the skin. For example, petroleum jelly. For when I was growing up, I had skin asthma. Nothing would work. They would always tell me to use petroleum jelly based products, which warms up the skin. But what was missing is, what is the moisturizing factor added to the skin before you put the petroleum jelly? Because the petroleum jelly will not be absorbed by the skin. Its molecules are very big. But it will help occlude your moisturizer. Okay? Now, there you go. So even if you put a lot of moisturizer, if it's water-based and you have dry skin, it will evaporate right away. So you need that thing that will serve as your occlusive. Okay? Or it will occlude your moisturizer into the skin. That's for dry skin people. Okay. Yeah. Parabens are acids and preservatives, but also frowned upon these days because they say it may cause cancer or things like that. Peptides is a type of amino acid, usually helps with cellular regeneration and anti-aging products. So if you are doing an anti-aging facial, this is the time you need those peptides in your set of skincare line. All right? So not everyone needs your peptide, not everyone needs your glycolic acid, not everyone needs your moisturizer, things like that. That is the reason why cosmetic science knowledge will help you what product or service to offer to your client. Okay. Phthalates, it prevents brittleness and improves flexibility. it's included in nail polishes. So some people who are pregnant would rather go for organic, no talent kind of nail products. It's highly used in nail polishes. Preservative, definitely this is needed. All products have preservative. It just differs on what type of preservative. Vitamin E is a type of preservative, so you can have a natural preservative. Retinoic acid or retinol is an antioxidant derived from vitamin A that is used to treat acne, stimulate collagen production, and reduces fine lines. So you can add to your home care. If your client has a lot of pimple, for teenagers, retinol is really very used nowadays. It's vitamin A. Yeah, yeah, they need it. And then also for fine lines and wrinkles. But for fine lines and wrinkles, tell your client, expect it not to happen in one sitting. Takes around 11 months of continuous use before retinol works to diminish the fine lines. But it's a good aftercare. Just remember, we have to stop retinol use for certain procedures like permanent makeup, a few days after permanent makeup, and stop applying on areas with permanent makeup because it continuously, mildly peels the skin, so your permanent makeup may not last as long. Okay, so we also have salicylic acid. It's widely used also for chemical healing. It's a form of BHA naman, beta hydroxy acid. It's a chemical exfoliator. And it also helps reduce acne. Yung 10 in 1 mo, meron siyang salicylic acid. Silicone is a lubricant with skin smoothing effect. We don't really, for professional, we use silicone for makeup, but for facials, as much as possible, no silicone. SLS or sodium lauryl sulfate. It's a foaming thickness enhancer. So SLS is lately frowned upon also because it's very chemical in nature and questionable if it affects you and if it's cancer causing. So, if the person is sensitive, don't use too much foaming substances. Okay. Shampoos nga eh. That's why I buy talaga, for my kids, I try not to have paraben, phthalates, dyes, SLS. Yeah. UV screen stops absorbing light is very common. So we need this to, if the client just started having her facials, obviously we need a UV block. Okay, and then vitamins, commonly for the skin is A, C, and E on top. They are antioxidants. Okay, so the skin is the largest part of the body and it's medically called the integumentary system. It's a whole system. Okay, and functions include sensation, obviously, and then like touch, pressure, pain. Okay, we are not too happy if your client has zero pain tolerance. I mean, if has very high pain tolerance or doesn't feel pain at all, because we don't know if we're burning the skin already. So, yeah. Skin helps in heat regulation, of course, and the absorption of your products through the sweat glands, the hair follicles, and the epidermal cells. Okay, so water and fat-soluble substances like organic oils are absorbed into the skin. And it's also responsible for absorbing vitamin D. The skin is the best way to absorb vitamin D more than any available supplement. Your skin, because vitamin D is fat-soluble, you cannot absorb it without fat. So the fat in your skin is the best way to absorb vitamin D. Okay, so also, I guarantee you, with the machines that you're using, it's a way for the clients to absorb the benefits from your cosmetic products. Because if they keep on applying and the skin is full of dead skin cells, it will not be absorbed. Number 2, the skin is made to repel water. or moisture. It's supposed to protect you. It's the waterproof covering of your body. So without the use of your important machines or the formulation of your cosmetics, the product will not be absorbed by the skin. That's why people need estheticians. Otherwise, they can just do everything themselves, but it will not be absorbed. They probably just wasting money. I mean, you have a client that has been using a skincare line, but the minute you do BB Glow on the client, major difference. That's because we used manipulating machines and products and proper formulations for the product to be more absorbed by the skin. And of course, the skin is also our way to excrete wastes away from the body. Okay. So this is the layer of the skin. Some machines reach up to the dermal area, some only up to the dermis area, some reach all the way to the subcutaneous tissue or the third layer. Okay. So also the skin is how we secrete the oil or sebum. So if it is full of comedones or dead skin cells, we cannot excrete the sebum. Hence, eventually, it leads to acne. So the change in a woman's skin is really affected by hormonal changes. And as we get older, our cellular metabolism slows down. So the nutrition coming from your blood to your skin also slows down. Okay? And then the sebaceous gland slow production also. That's why people who used to be oily when they get older say, my skin is suddenly so dry. And the products that they used to use before when they were younger doesn't work anymore because they used to be oily and now that they aged, they became drier. So the elastin fibers harden. That's why we stimulated with the massages and your machines. Collagen fibers begin to cross-link and harden. Epidermis grows more slowly. Things like that. Blood circulation becomes poorer. Waste removal in the lymphatic drainage becomes lower, and pigmentation is more likely. That's why they need estheticians in order to stimulate all of this system going on in their skin that are slowing down. Okay, what are the skin conditions? Okay, first is pustules. It can occur from a pupule. It's a raised elevation on the skin containing pus. First, it starts red and then eventually it becomes a pupule or a pimple. And you already see the yellow pus in the middle. Okay. Papules raised may appear red in color and then it becomes yellow. It's now called a papule. Okay. Skin tags are growth of fibrous tissues and sometimes pigmented, but sometimes same color of the skin, so you can hardly know unless you turn on your LED light. Milia is dead skin cells and sebaceous matter. So with your dead skin cells and your fat or sebum under, and if the dead skin cells is trapping it in, it becomes milia or whitehead. It's sebum trapped in a blind duct. So there's no duct. So you need to poke it to extract the fat. That's the milia. Okay? Usually builds around the eye. Comedone or comedones are the same as milia, but the excess sebum, because the pore is open, so opposite of milia, the pore is open, it becomes oxidized by the air. So it becomes blackheads. All right, so open pores due to oily skin or mature skin or dry skin due to loss of elasticity, the pore doesn't bounce back to closing. That's why they need us to help them with their pores. Dermatosis or papulosa nigra. This could be, the dark spots or lines. Those systemic things or hereditary things we can do nothing about. Broken capillaries. Okay? Sometimes the narrowing of the muscle as we age the walls tear, so we get red threads on the skin. Those are called broken capillaries. When it's red, it's broken capillaries. Melasma is often associated with estrogen and progesterone. It's systemic. So when the client has melasma, it's very hard to treat because the treatment should come from inside the body out. What is easy to treat for us are age spots because this is due to the exposure to the sun. So if your products are not working, then it must be systemic or hormone-based melasma. Stretch marks, results of weight gain and or pregnancy. The collagen becomes thin and broken and the skin is overstretched. So the connection of the skin breaks. So we regenerate it with needling, laser. Grown hair. It's hair that curls up inside the follicle instead of getting out of the pores. So sometimes it becomes inflamed, no? But mind you, your hair removal laser helps with this. I have experienced doing laser and then the hair went flying out. Keloids or hypertrophic scarring. So there's an increased production of skin cells when there's a wound. So the scarring is raised. Common in darker skin. Includes Asian and blacks. Erythema dilation of the capillaries or red skin. There are some people that no matter what you do, they're red. It's not your fault. And then there's vitiligo. Okay, so some layers of the skin no longer produces melanin, so that area lacks pigmentation. We can help that with permanent makeup. So the muscular system. When performing facial therapy, it's important to know what is the point of us massaging the skin or the face. No, because the face is full of muscles. Okay, so it's important that we manipulate the fascia or facial muscles because its muscles are elastic and they respond very well to stimulation and they have the capacity to contract. So the more you stimulate by massaging or using your machines, the more they contract. And as we said earlier, that the person gets older, all of this slows down. So it will benefit them well if you do proper facial massage and also your machines, no? Because muscles are responsible for having that lifted skin. Okay? So you can see that the whole face is full of muscles. And that's why we have to stimulate every part of the face to help it contract again or contract more. So why we massage this part of the face to lift it, around the eyes to prevent puffiness, things like that. Okay? Lymphatic system is also very important for us even though we're just facialists or estheticians because the lymphatic system will help the client. This is where the toxins, the excess fat or is secreted. So we have to know where it is so we know where to push it to help the client's toxins exit the body, the free radicals, help them exit the body. Okay, so we have, for instance, for facial, we have the tonsils. Here. That's why we include this. Yeah. Remember, sometimes when you're sick, you get lymph nodes in this area because that's where the lymphatic system is. So when we do actually in our own clinic, when we do facials, we always include the neck as a freebie, as an added value. But the real reason for that is the client will feel that the face is slimmer and tighter if you do lymphatic massages. Okay. Alright, so massage helps the fluid move along the lymph vessels. So edema or swelling will leave the body. Okay, that's why we need to know about that. If the person is sick, you will know because when you touch the lymph nodes, there will be ball-like substances there. And we don't want to work on somebody who's about to have a flu or colds for your protection and also for clients' healing.